Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is SavorySewing. You can also find me on Instagram at SavorySewing. A Flosstube channel is a YouTube channel where folks talk about their cross stitch, what they're stitching, what they want to stitch, what they're going to buy for stitching, all of those things. So if that sounds good to you, please stick around. So today we are going to celebrate a little bit. I would like to start by saying thank you to everyone out there who has been watching my videos since I started making them last year and who has subscribed or liked or commented. We have hit 1,000 subscribers, which, as many of you know, in the YouTube world, that is a big milestone. So I'm pretty psyched about that. Thank you very much for all of the engagement over the past, has it been 8 months? I can't recall. I really appreciate it. And to celebrate, I have some giveaways planned for later in the video, and so I hope you stick around for those. So stitching wise, I don't have any finishes or fully finishes this video, just a pile of WIPs and a lot of plans. The other thing that I thought about was the fact that since I've gotten quite a few subscribers in the last month or two, that I would reintroduce myself in this video, because I realized I don't really do that, and I just kind of assume that folks have been watching from the beginning, which I also know is not the case based on the numbers and who watches what. So as I said, my name is Elizabeth. I live in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, which is on the west side. I live about an hour, hour and a half south of Portland, depending on the traffic. Which also means I live an hour and a half south of Acorns and Threads, if any of you have ever been to that cross-stitch shop up in the Portland area. I live with my partner and our dog. We've lived in, well, I've lived in Oregon. My partner is a native Oregonian. I am not. I grew up in upstate New York, and I've lived in Oregon for about 12 years now. When I'm not stitching in my day job, I'm a plant pathologist. So I have a PhD in plant pathology, which is the study of plant diseases. And so I do plant health related things for the state of Oregon, monitoring and testing and trying to keep bad plant pathogens out of state to protect Oregon agriculture, basically. We are beavers, not ducks. This is important if you're from Oregon. I also went to Michigan State, so go green. And that's where my PhD is from. And I think other than that, again, I'm a plant person, but I'm an outdoor plant person, not an indoor plant person. I'm terrible at keeping houseplants alive. It's just not for me. I don't know. I have a really great green thumb once you walk out the door. My garden's looking great this year. I know I showed some pictures in the last video, and I might throw some more in this video just because I'm obsessed, but my houseplants die. Other than that, I've been stitching since about 2020. I'm a pandemic stitcher, like I know a lot of us are. I needed a hobby. I needed something to do with my hands during that time, and cross stitch ended up being that thing. I also sew and quilt. I've made clothes. Actually, I realized I'm wearing a shirt. You can't really see it, but I made this shirt that I'm wearing several years ago. You also can't see, but I have a pile of quilts up there. I've got 5 quilts that need to be bound. They're quilted, pieced and quilted, but they don't have binding on them because I actually hate binding. Those of you who like, it's funny because if you quilt, like hand sewing binding is the most tedious thing ever. However, I will happily make, 1,000 little X's and I don't find that tedious at all. Does that make sense? No. So if anyone's interested in hand binding my quilts, we could trade. All right, so let's get off that tangent and get on to the stitching. So it is June 2nd, the day I'm recording this, and hopefully June 2nd is the day that it will go live. And so we are going to wrap up my May stitching and also talk about June plans. I just realized I didn't pull any of my May stats like I like to, so we're just going to pretend that I did. Maybe I'll pop them in here and you can read them off the screen if you are so inclined. I know that I didn't have a ton of finishes. I think I'm at like 2 finishes and maybe 5 starts, and I probably worked on, let's guess, 20 things. Let's see if I was right. But in the month of May, I did work on all of my projects that have gardens or flowers or what have you or in them. That is, I've set up themes, for each month throughout the year, and I try to make a point to touch all of the WIPs that fit that theme in that month. And that way I touch all of my WIPs, hopefully at least once in a year, and maybe also get some of them finished. I'm also doing WIPGO this year, which is like bingo for your projects or whatever you want to put on your board. I have my WIPGO finishes to show you. I don't have any new starts since my last video. Actually, that's not true. I impulse started something yesterday. I wasn't supposed to have any new starts, but I do. So let's start with the pile of WIPs over here. And we'll go through those, and then we'll just go on and see where we end up. Okay, so WIPGO. I had 2 projects on my May WIPGO board, which were this one. So I'll put a picture in here. This is Midnight Magic by Stitchrovia or Emma Congdon. It is from an issue of Cross Stitcher magazine, and it's also now available on her website. And so this is where I am. I didn't make a ton of project progress since I showed it to you last. I just worked more. I think I finished this word. It says with. Hopefully you can see that. This needed to get 3 days to meet my WIPGO call, and it did. They weren't very productive 3 days. All I managed to get done was what you can see on that little witch and the word with. But that's okay. It's better than nothing. So that is a complete WIPGO box to check off for the month of May. Next, I know everyone's stitching Deadly Aquarium by Lola. I'm not a fish person, so I decided that I was going to start Greenhouse of Oddities, which I purchased last year and never stitched. I jumped in late, and so this is where I am on that. I started in the middle because the perk of not following along on the stitch along is I didn't have to stitch the entire greenhouse first. That's a lot of DMC 310. So I started just smack dab in the middle and with that corpse flower. And so I'm stitching this with all of the called for DMC. This is 16 count Ada by Picture This Plus in the color Alchemy, which is just a pretty, you can see it's just a pretty variegated blue-gray. And I'm stitching this in the Q-snap because this is a really soft Ada. And I find soft Adas in the larger counts, my stitches look better, or I'm finding my stitches look better. This is the only Q-snap I own. I've only had a Q-snap and been a Q-snap stitcher for like, I don't know, like 2 months. So this is one of the projects I'm testing out in there. And so I'm just starting that fountain in the middle. You can see those little Venus flytraps popping in. I'm very excited about this. And I've also been excited to see all the folks who are stitching the Deadly Aquarium Sal. It looks super cool. But you know, I'm a plant person, not a fish person. So we'll do this one. All right, next, this is a pattern that I've been working on for a couple years now. This is actually one of my older WIPs. I will pop a picture in here. This is called Scissors with Flowers by Tiny Modernist. And I think this is like a 2021, this might be a 2021 or a 2022 start. I'm trying to find that right now. That's why I'm staring over here at my computer screen. Hold on 1 second. No, this is a May of 2022 start, so this is 2 years old. Sorry, I'll show it to you. I know, hopefully you've been seeing the picture here. And it's really cute. I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana by Fibrolicious Yummy Fibers in the colorway Frosty Mint. Some of it is the called for DMC and some of it is not. I started this because I wanted to have some more like sewing themed things to hang in my craft room. And actually, you know what? I'm going to grab something real quick. And I had already stitched this. This is also an Emma Congdon piece that I got in a box from the Historical Sampler Co. This says Craftiness is Happiness on it. And so this hangs on the wall over here that y'all can't see. And so I picked these colors based on this so that they would like look nice together. So the leaves are the same colors and some of the flowers are the same. And so I think this got 2 days of stitching. I know I put a lot of the back stitching in to those scissors and these flowers up here. I'm guessing this hasn't been shown on my Flosstube probably since my WIP parade last year. This is also on my WIPGO board as a finished goal, so I think that's definitely doable. Basically what's left is back stitching all of this and then finishing this, what is that called? A spool right there and here. And I actually made a counting error here, but I'm gonna fudge it. So that's Scissors with Flowers by Tiny Modernist. Super cute pattern. All right. Next, keeping with the flower theme, is this pattern. This is Rappaccini's Quaker by Bendy Stitchy Designs. This was a 2024 market release this year. It was also in a the Poison Garden box from the Starlight Stitchery several years ago. And this is where I am. I started in the bottom right corner. And I'm just going to work my way across. This is on fabric from Forbidden Fiber Co. in the colorway Resolution. This was a fabric of the month for January of this year, I think. And isn't it beautiful? Love it. And all of the flosses, these are the called for classic colorworks flosses. And I'm really loving this. I'm going to turn it into a drum when I'm done. All right, so that probably got 2 days. My goal was to stitch on each of these for 2 days. Next was a May new start that got another day. This is a Witchy Stitcher pattern. This was the May Patreon pattern, and I love it. I love the Witchy Stitcher. However, I'm not Neon Goth Tarot. And so while they are amazing, I'm never going to stitch any of them. So I was super excited when this came up in Patreon because I really wanted to stitch it. And so hopefully I popped the picture in here. This is my progress so far. This is Leave Me Alone. I'm cross stitching. I'm stitching this on 32 count Witch's Brew from XJU Designs. I'm using all the called for DMC except the black is, I want to say it's Raven by Forbidden Fiber Co. It's a variegated black gray. It's just not DMC 310. Everything else is as charted. This is part of the stitch along that where I'm hosting actually with Erin from Cozy Town Stitches, Alex from Salex Stitching, and Caroline from Caroline Stitch Corner. We're all stitching this together, and the hashtag is Leave Me Alone. Hashtag Leave Me Alone SAL. And they are all stitching it on different colors, and they all look beautiful. All right, so, and now for something completely different than the Witchy Stitcher. This is one of my WIPGO calls. This is called Vintage Ladies. I'll pop a picture in here. This is from is this World of Cross Stitching magazine? It's from one of the British magazines. I have a digital subscription to this, or had a digital subscription. No, I still have it actually. And I started this in, I want to say 2020. 2022. This is a July of 2021 start, and this is where I am. I backstitched almost all of these packages, and then I started working on backstitching her dress. She now has like a face, and then I'm working on filling in the skirt of the second lady here. There is a ton of backstitching in this dress, so I only got 5 lines done, and that took hot minute. And so this has got a lot of ways to go. It really got one really long day, a shorter day, and it didn't technically get the 3rd day, but I'm calling it a win because I spent a significant amount of time on it one day. And so it will get called one more time this year, excuse me, on WIPGO, and then I will pull it out in July, hopefully for some Christmas in July stitching. But I really love the aesthetic of this. It is a lot back stitching, and I think it'll be worth it when it's done. But also called for DMC, and this is what is this called? This is Cherry Blossom. No, Sakura Cherry Blossom. Sakura means cherry blossom in Japanese. Excuse me, I just blanked. This is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and I think it's 32 count Lugana. I think all my Lugana from Fiberlicious is 32 count. This is a regular color, not a Fabric of the Month color, and I believe Frosty Mint as well, so you can get those. All right, so those are my 2 WIPGO calls, mostly done, but we're counting them as done. And then next on the WIP pile was a new start for May. So a lot of folks were stitching patterns by Miriam, Marroomy Designs for Marroomy May. And I actually had this already planned to as a May start, and so I of course worked on it and hashtagged it and all the things. This is Silk Garden. I'll pop a picture in here. And I started in the bottom corner here and I'm working my way up. This was charted on white and I'm stitching it on, oh, what's the color is this? This is, picture this plus 36 count, and the color is this Highland? Yeah, it's Highland. I think it looks really good. It doesn't pop, obviously, as quite as much as it would on white, but I think the colors look really nice on this fabric. And there's some more fill-in to do around like these motifs. This is all fill-in, so there'll be some more color in there that I think will look really nice. So very excited about this. This pattern, I think it's beautiful. All of her designs are beautiful. She just dropped, and I'll pop a picture in here if I remember, a really gorgeous pattern for Pride month, which is called, is it called Children of the Rainbow? It's really beautiful. All of her stuff's gorgeous. So go check that out if you're interested. All right. Next on the WIP pile, I think I only have one more WIP, and then we'll move on to new starts. So this is Forest Fairytale Sal by Quaternion Creations. I actually just watched YouTube video, so I hopefully said that right. If not, I'm not going to say it again. I learned a lot. It's a math term, and it has something to do with variable mathematics. I am not the one to explain this to folks. I'm not I don't math. But I watched a video so I could pretend that I could pronounce it properly. Apparently it's very important in like three-dimensional modeling. We're gonna go with that. All right, let me show you what I've been stitching. So I'm stitching this on a piece of fabric by Fiberlicious Shimmy Fibers. It was a Fiberlicious Shimmy Fiber heavy fabric month, and surprise, surprise, it's 32 count Lugana, because that is what the fabric of the month club I was in. This is, the fabric is called Alice's Garden, and this is where I am. So the border, I obviously have not finished the border. I of course started in this bottom corner, and then the first drop was in the completely opposite corner. I was just kind of hoping that maybe if I stitched the bottom, I wouldn't have to stitch the whole thing to be able to put the first drop in, but that was not the case. And so I stitched my way across and counted, and I've not finished it, but I'm not mad about that. This is really easy stitching because it's basically mostly black. There's two other colors in here. You can see in this little, where the little wolf is, there's this burnt orange color, and then there's a green. And this is really easy to stitch on the couch. And it's basically, it's not fill-in, but it's, at least the border is basically fill-in. So I obviously not finished the first drop either. I will put a picture of the first drop in here as well as the whole pattern. But look at that little wolf. So the first drop was Little Red Riding Hood. And so there's going to be a little, well, red will be here. So that's where I am so far. I am stitching this. I was enabled by Jen from Jen's Fiber Web to pull this out. Also, it's huge. I know I measured it, and I know I'm stitching it on 32 count, so I knew it was going to be big. And then I realized it's freaking huge. When I was stitching this long line of stitching, I was like, it's going to be a big one, but that's okay. Not everything has to be tiny. All right, so those are all my WIPs. It was a pretty productive May, I feel like. I stitched almost every single day, I think except for one. I had one very busy Tuesday in which I basically was at the office for like 15 hours. And so no stitching got done that day, but I think I stitched every other day in May, which I think is pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to show you my one new start, which was a complete impulse start. So I'll pop a picture in here. This is called Spring Parade by Barbara Anna Designs. This was from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, I think spring 2023. I was watching Sarah from I Swear I'm Stitching yesterday, and she has been, in the month of May, her mania was based partly on Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, where she decided that she had physical copies of the magazines, And so she marked every pattern she wanted to pick, put them on a wheel, or excuse me, she marked every pattern that she wanted to stitch, and she put them all on a tiny decisions wheel, and that's how she decided what she was going to stitch. And then when she's done with the magazine, she's going to donate it to her library, which lovely way to get stuff out of your house and get patterns into other people's hands. So I was watching her yesterday, and she finished it, and she had turned it into a little pillow, and it was so freaking cute, and I happened to have the digital copy, and so I pulled it out and I started stitching. And this is where I got. I'm almost done. I just need, you can see I've started that one dandelion there, and then I have to stitch the other dandelion, and then it's done. And so this is on a tiny little ornament cut for my stash. It's called Looking Glass. It's 40 count linen. It's Under the Sea fabrics, and I'm stitching it with, it's overdyes that are in the style of the DMC that were called for. I just, because I only needed like one thread from each one, I just kind of grabbed from my wall, pulled a thread out, stitched all the color, and then moved on. And so it's not quite as bright, I think, had I chosen the DMCs, but I think it's really cute, and it was an excellent, just like impulse stitch that it was so cute. Her finish is so cute. I couldn't resist. So that was my start and almost finish. I bet I'm going to finish it. I'm hopefully going to finish it today while I edit this, but we'll see. All right. So we've gone through WIPs. We've done new starts. Let's do plans. Okay. Yeah, let's do haul, and then we'll do giveaways, and then we'll do plans. Let's do it that way. All right. So this month I actually have some haul. I usually don't have a ton, but I have this little pile here. And I just impulse bought a lot of thread. There's no other way to say this. I don't know. I have no excuse. I don't need any of this thread. I just wanted it. So my first purchase was from Dying for Sass. Her name is Jenny. I think I was watching the Notorious Needle podcast Flosstube the other day, and Dying for Sass is doing the floss pack for their new stitch along, and so I was checking it out, her floss, because it was really pretty, and then she was having a sale for Memorial Day weekend, and so I bought some. That's my story. I bought this. So she's got a floss, a variegated rainbow called Goth Rainbow. So it's like obviously it's like a darker, slightly less cheerful rainbow. And I think this was like $25, and this is a 10-yard skein, and these are each 5-yard skeins of the colors in there, and then you got this little thread holder. And I really love these. These are going to be perfect for some June pride stitching. And then she sent, because I think if the sale was, you got a free piece of fabric if you bought floss. And so you just got something random. And I got this gorgeousness. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm going to stitch on this. I don't think this is Ada. I think this is the other one. This might be Jobelin. I don't know. It's not quite Ada, but it's definitely not Lungana. So I don't know what it is, but hopefully you can see. I don't know if you can really see, but there's some, oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Super pretty. So I got that, and then I ordered some other random floss because I really want to stitch some big monochromatic things. And so also, you'll know at the end of this, I'll show you that I have a problem. I got a hank of this. This is called Bat Tears. That. And then I got 2 skeins each of these 2 colors, this variegated purple and this variegated tealy blue. So this is called Persephone, and this is called Wisdom. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? They're gorgeous. All right. So this is my Dying for Sass haul. And then I started watching Thread Gremlins, and they were talking about Pirate and Robin floss, and Pirate and Robin floss is in Eugene, Oregon, which is like 45 minutes from my house. And so I was like, oh, there's a local-ish, independent yarn dyer, so let me buy some floss from her and check it out. And so I got a variety of colors. This one is silk, that's why it's a smaller skein, but I got this purple, which is called Nightshade. One of these green blues is called Bog Witch, and the other one's called Fog. And then I always love a good variegated black gray, so I got 3 different ones of those to test out. and then this pink one just because it was pretty. And this one, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but this has speckles in it. And after the floss for the Stitch for Pride, that was very, very speckly. I've been looking for more speckly flosses. This one's not super speckly, but there's more haul. There will be more speckles to be seen. So I've got these. They feel really nice. I'm very excited about having a floss dyer who's very close to me. All right. And now for a floss dyer who's not very close to me. Brin Nedle was having a sale, and I've been meaning to buy Brin Nedle flosses for, forever. And I just needed an excuse, and they released a bunch of flosses with naughty Newfoundland names. And so I bought some naughty Newfoundland flosses. I'm not going to read them to you because I don't think they're particularly naughty, but they're not all, but they definitely have, yeah, they're definitely a little naughty. So, but this beautiful teal, these beautiful purples, and then these ones were purchased. Yeah, the next three, I think, just have, these three are just super speckly, which I don't know what I'm going to do with, but like, look how pretty they are. This one I know was in the Spring Fling box a couple years ago that These 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari put out, the one with the Don't Touch Me one, and then this one, this is just one of the naughty ones. This one's just called the Big Stick, and use your imagination, folks. All right, so I'm just going to put out into the world that I have a problem, and that is I only like a certain color palette in floss. So here's some variegated purple. Here's a beautiful purple. Here's some more variegated purple. Here's a nice teal. So I basically bought the same colors from 3 different floss dyers. And you can't see, but there's a problem over here too, where I gravitate towards like 2 colors. I don't need to stitch everything in purple. Well, actually, folks, do I need to stitch everything in purple? I don't think that's actually a problem, but it is a problem when you're not stitching things that are conducive to purple. Anyway, the other thing that I got was my fabric of the month. Ooh, again, spoilers, my fabric of the month from Be Stitch Me. I'm so excited about this. I know it's just, I mean, I'm not going to describe it for those who might have looked away, but it's beautiful. It's exactly what I love. And it happens to look gorgeous with all of the new flosses that I just bought. I mean, everything would look good on this color, right? So, haul, more haul than normal. And now I don't need to buy floss for ever, really. Okay, let's do giveaways and then we'll do plans. So I pulled from my stash some patterns that I have stitched and some brand new patterns that I realized I'm probably not going to stitch. And so we're going to go through those. And you know what I realized is I didn't put words down for any of these, but we'll figure it out. The first one is, and I brought 2 things with me. So I'm going to give away this pattern. This one I did stitch. This is Doodles Spring by Heart and Hand. And so if you'd like this, use the word bloom in your comment. And then next, I'm not going to show you the pattern. Well, this is the pattern. It doesn't have a picture of the fully finished item on it, so I grabbed my finish off the wall. So I'm going to give away the pattern for this. This is Barbara Anna Designs Garden of Dreams. This might be my all-time favorite Barbara Anna finish that I've stitched. I love this so, so, so much. I think she's beautiful. I love all the green. I love all the flowers. Oh, it's so beautiful. So if you'd like this one, use the word dreams in your comment and I will send you. This is a big full-size pattern. And this is in one of those this is hoop finished. I'll show you the back. So she's finished in a hoop and then tucked into one of these modern hoopla frames. This is the hexagon one. If you all watch Tara from Wilda Women Crafts, which you should, she just finished all of her Bird Crush Club birds in 12 of these frames and framed them as one giant grouping, and it looks freaking amazing. I'm very, very, I think it looks amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Very impressed by her finishing skills there. So that will be the second giveaway is Garden of Dreams. Use the word dreams. All right. And the rest of these are random. And I've tried to pull a variety of themes. So this one is by Primrose Cottage. This is this cute little pumpkin pattern. It's called Boo Bash. I've not stitched this. I think it's super cute. And I meant to stitch it, but I just have so many Halloween patterns. I should probably start culling. So, oh, what should we use? How about Bash? Next, I've got two patterns from Fat Quarter Shop. So this is called Starlit Snowflake. Super cute. And they even give you 3 different colorway options on the back. If you don't want to stitch it in pink, they give you a blue and a gray. But again, this is a super easy pattern to make, you know, any color that you want to fit your decor, if you will. So for this one, let's use the word Starlit. This is a nice all color, you know, Fat Quarter Shop at Salem does a really nice job on their patterns. And then my last one is, I'm going to take it out of the bag, is also from Fat Quarter Shop, but it's a Lori Holt pattern. And I know I've seen a number of folks stitch this in a number of cute colorways. This is Stitchy Stars. These adorable little quilt stars. And you could, you know, organize these any way you wanted. There's, there's 7 of them. You could make them, you could do it this way. You could make a different kind of pattern. You could stitch them in different colors. I'm pretty sure Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop also did a Christmas color conversion for this. If you're not interested in patriotic, which this is definitely in the Lori Holt color palette. So this is super cute. So for this one, let's use stars. So just a reminder of the rules around giveaways. Don't say giveaway. Don't say any of those things in the comments. You must be 18 so I can ask for your address. These items have no monetary value, so if they get lost in the mail, it is what it is. But I will go back through one more time with the words. So if you'd like Stitchy Stars, use the word stars. Starlit Snowflake, use the word starlit. For Boo Bash, use the word bash. I'm really excited about potential sentences with all these words in them. For this heart and hand pattern, which is Doodles Spring, use the word bloom. It's very cute, very cute. This is my favorite of the doodles, or at least, yeah, or the season ones. And then for, oh, sorry, ignore that. For the Barbara Anna Garden of Dreams, use the word dreams. And if you say dream and not dreams, I will figure it out. So those are all the giveaways. And again, thank you folks for subscribing and sticking around and listening to me ramble about, you know, cross stitch in my garden and all those things. I really appreciate it. It's been super fun. All right, so let's talk about plans for the month of June. So let's go with WIPGO first, and then we'll go into my plans for new starts and the WIPs that I'm going to work on that are non-WIPGO related. So the WIPGO numbers for this month were 2 and 25. And for me, maybe I'll put my WIPGO board in here. They are, my first finish goal is called. So when I put my WIPGO board together this year, I had used all my 2020, 21, and 2022 WIPs mostly. And for all my 2020 and 2021 projects that were still hanging out, the goal for most of those were to finish them and not have those WIPs hanging out. And so one of them I have completed so far. That was my oldest, very first cross stitch project from March of 2020. I finished that a couple months ago. I think also in March. I think I got called in March, which was nice. I finished it on its 4-year birthday. And my next, this project here, this is called, I call it No Pants. I'm not actually, it will say the correct name here, but I call this No Pants. This is from Stitchy Little Fox. I got this on Etsy. And it says home is where the pants aren't. And I know I haven't stitched on this since probably my last, since my WIP parade, which was like last August. It is super cute. The shading in these peaches is just delightful, and I don't have a ton left, which is part of the reason why it is a finish goal. I just need to finish, I need to spring these leaves around, and these leaves are super easy. Each of them is just one color with some outline. They don't take a lot long. And this is 16 count white Ada, stitched in all the called for DMC. This was actually a request from my partner. He thought it would be funny to have this on the wall. Something that he suggested that I stitch, and I've been working on it for 3 years now. My goal is to put our address here and have this be like a, you know, a funny, like house not sampler, but you know how folks have like established 2020 blah 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 when they buy a new house or they get married. Well, this is going to be our version of that for this house. So this will be finished by the end of the month. Maybe also framed and hung on the wall before we've lived in our house for 4 years, because we moved in here in July of 2020. And so it would be nice to have it done. So that's my first WIPGO project for June. And then my next project is this one. This is, I believe this is 25. Hang on. Yeah, this is the Salem 1692 sampler from Witch's Garden Crafts. And I started this in, I think, 2022. This has just got a 3-day goal on it. And I know I haven't touched this since April, when it's probably when you last saw it, because it would have come out in April when I did Halloween stitching. And I think in April I did like this motif and this motif. And so this will get 3 days this month, which should get a good amount done. I am stitching this on, oh, I meant to look. Is this steel? It's either steel or silver fox, because I don't have, hold on. Salem 1692 sampler is stitched on unknown fabric, because I didn't put it in my Notion app. Well, it's pretty. It's a pretty gray. It is a 40 count, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I'm stitching it. I'm not stitching it with the called for DMC. I pulled fancy floss from stash for the oranges at the very least. I think the grays actually are called for. And if you see in the picture, it's actually charted to be on much darker fabric, and so mine is definitely a lot more subtle, but I don't care. I like it. I'm not mad about it. Okay, so those are all of my WIPGO projects. For June, as I said earlier, I like to put a theme on each of my months so that I can target the WIPs that I work on to make sure that things get worked on every month. For June, my category is Craftivism. So I will be working on things that correspond to causes that are important to me. And so I've got 3 new starts planned, and then we'll see what gets released. It is Pride Month, and so there's usually a bunch of really great Pride patterns that get released. I just talked to you about one from Marroomy Crafts not too long ago. And I've seen a few others. I haven't decided if I'm going to start any of them, because I still have some from last year that I need to finish. So the other thing that I'm doing in 2024 is I planned out 24 new starts, and so I've got 2 of those, and so I'll pop a picture in here of those. They are This Juneteenth Day by Shaded Stitchery, and one of the projects from Civil Samplers by Rebel Stitcher Design. And so I don't have a ton obviously to show you, except that I pulled the floss and the fabric for these. So for the Shaded Stitchery piece, This Juneteenth Day, which I'm hoping to start on Juneteenth, I'm going to stitch this on, this is 36 count flax by Zweigart. And then I've pulled from stash some Roxy floss and some Classic Colorworks flosses. And so I think it is charted in DMC. I think you might be able to get a floss pack of complete Roxy floss conversion from Everto. I'm not actually sure. I know they did My Necessity. I'm not sure if they did This Juneteenth Day, so don't quote me on that. But I just pulled from stash, and I'm going to leave like there's blanc or a white and another beigey color in there. I'm just going to use the DMC for those. But This is a, oh, this is a Threadworks. I had a big hank. You need like 4 skeins of 33771. And so I had 2 bigger skeins of the Threadworks, the 10 yard, or are they 10 yards? I don't know how much this is. And so I think I'll have enough to do all the dark brown. So that's my plan for that. And then, all right, this one's just, this needs a project bag. I haven't made one yet. And then for the Civil Samplers and for Civil Samplers by Rebel Stitcher, there are 3 patterns in here. I'll show you closer because I'm not sure how well you could see in the photo that I showed you. But I've decided to start with this one. And this is a quote from Shirley Anita Chisholm. She was the first Black woman to be elected to Congress in 1969. And the quote is, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." And so I'm going to start with that one. And I've decided I'm going to stitch this in, it's charted in Classic Colorworks. And I would have stitched it in Classic Colorworks, except I don't have 2 of them. So I'm stitching it in Dinky Dyes Silks. And so it called for a blue, a gray, and a navy. And so I'm going to use these 3 and I'm going to put it on this fabric. This is Winter Woolens by Seraphim Fabrics. I think that'll be really nice. I think I'll be able to get that one finished this month, hopefully, because it's not a ton of stitching, although there is quite the border, and it's not very big. It's going to be, I'm stitching this on 36 count, and it's going to be 9 by 4, so not super huge. So those are my two of my 3 planned new starts for June. And then my third one, I am oh goodness, these 20 stitches, Stitch for Pride 2024 stitch along. I'm caught up all the way to this point. They just dropped the new pattern yesterday. This month's artist is Frida Kahlo. I'll pop a picture in here. And so I will start and finish this as well. The other thing that I do have planned is I'm going to do my best to keep up on the Forest Fairytale sale from Quater. I really want it to be quarter, and that's what's hanging me up with being able to say it, because it's not a hard word. It's just I have a mental block. So Forest Fairytale sale. I would like to keep up on that, and so I know the next piece will probably get dropped in maybe this week or next. So I think I'll have maybe 2 drops in June, although I think there's a break week in there. I'm not 100% sure. So those are the new starts that will get worked on this month. And then I will touch all of my Craftivism WIPS that I have in my stash. And so I'm going to show you all of those because there's only 5 of them, 6 of them. 1, 2, 3. There's 5 of them. And I pulled them. So I'm going to show you what those are. So the first one is a pattern that was from a box. So I showed you earlier that pattern from the Historical Sampler Company from the UK. And so I have another one of those. I don't think I have a better picture of this, but this is the September 2021 design from that box. And I've been working on this for a while and just making incremental progress. This is also on my WIPGO board for later this year as a finish goal whenever it gets called. So I'd like to finish this. And this is where I am. The reason why this falls into the Craftivism category, which probably doesn't make sense when you're looking at it, is I purchased another pattern with words that say, my favorite season is the fall of the patriarchy. And so I plan on replacing autumn falls with that, those words. And so that makes this Craftivism, and it's going to be, I like the juxtaposition of the adorable, very classic animals and flowers with, the fall of the patriarchy. It entertains me. And I will say, the other thing I was going to say is I really enjoyed these cotton and twine stitch boxes when I first started stitching. I thought they were a good value. I don't know how much they are anymore, but you got a really nice pattern. This is a full-size color pattern. You got the fabric, which is always a 16 count Aida. You got all the flosses on a nice little floss card. You also got a treat and the finishing supplies. So you can see here that this is in a frame. This frame came with the pattern. And did I put that away already? Oh, I don't know what I did with that. Oh, here it is. And so the same is true of this. This came with this frame and the instructions on how to finish it. So when I was a brand new stitcher, I think I joined this in like fall of 2020. This was actually a really great deal and a really nice product. And I know at least one pattern a year is an Emma Congdon pattern, which I think is nice. And I think they get other guest designers. A lot of them are very, yeah. If you like the style of what they have to offer, I recommend them. I enjoyed them. I unsubscribed just because it's a lot of stitching and I didn't need more stuff. Once I learned about Flosstube and all of the other places you could buy patterns. But at the beginning it was great. All right, so next is a pattern from the Notorious Needle. This was a stitch along in 2022, is that correct? Called the Pro Choice Stitch Along. And I will say this, Notorious Needle runs an excellent stitch along. They're about to start a new one called I think it's called Vote As If. And they do a really great job. So I have not gotten, I think I started late and then I didn't keep up, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't still be a WIP. And this is as far as I've gotten. And it just says, obviously not very far. There's a lot to go on this, and it will be the size of this. This is white, 16 count Aida. And I think part of it is I just realized I'm not a white 16 count Aida stitcher. And so you may have noticed a lot of my old WIPs that I haven't finished this and the no pants included are because of that. You know, your tastes change, but I really do believe in this and I would like to get it finished. And so this is also on my WIPGO board twice this year. It just hasn't been pulled yet. So there's that. This is a pattern that I got for free off of an Instagram page, which the name is escaping me right now, but it will be here. This is called Stitchy's Journal, and I think the idea is that there's a motif for every day of the year. I'm not stitching it that way. I'm just stitching them as I want to. I love this. I started this for Julie and Stitch's 16's birthday this year. She asked that folks start a pattern for a cause or something they cared about, and I started this because of the genocide going on in Gaza. So this is where I am. I'm stitching this 1/1 on 25 count Lugana. I believe this is colorway Cloud, and I'm stitching it with the called for DMC, which I think there's only, so there's quite a few colors. I just started with the red. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this right up right. There's those little birdies are the right way up. And then I started filling in. I think I've only put, oh yeah, I've put the blue in, and then you probably can see there's a little baby pink in there. So there's a lot of other colors. Just the red is the predominant color, and so I started with that. It is, these are all DMC, and there's some really beautiful versions of this on Instagram where folks have used different colors or have stitched each motif in a different color, or stitched them completely in the color of the Palestinian flag. It will be this size to fit exactly in this hoop when I'm done with it. I think I'll just finish it in this hoop as well. So this is Stitchy's Journal. That will get hopefully it will get a couple days this month. I should remind myself what day of the month Julie's birthday is and pull it out on that day. That would be smart. All right, so next in the pile, so June is Pride Month, and so last year it was either the Stitchers Collective or it was Starlight Stitchery released a Pride bundle. One or the other. Regardless, they released a Pride bundle, and if you made a donation, you got quite a number of patterns. And so this is the one that I've started. Most of the patterns that were in that bundle are now available from the various designers who stitched them. So I think you can probably get this one. I don't actually know. So this is from Noctiflora Designs, and it's called Be Queer, Do Stitchcraft. And I really like it. This is 32 count Lugana Fiberlicious in the colorway Razzmatazz. Isn't it gorgeous? So pretty. and I am stitching it with DMC 310. So Be Queer, do Stitchcraft, the border, and then this is my little, this is how I'm holding the rest of this fabric. This is Auntie D by Classic Colorworks. It's like a purple blue variegated, and so the thread, you can see, I think you can see the variegation there. It variegates through the purple in the spool, and so there's another thread spool over here, and so that will also get stitched in that, and the rest of it will be black. I picked it because it looks like the modeling in the fabric. Yeah, so there's that. I'm hoping to finish this June because I don't think, I just need to finish the border, stitch the other pair of scissors, and there might be something, well, that might be it. It's definitely doable. I really like, I've realized showing you all these things is I like stitching these monochromatic-ish pieces on these brightly colored Luganas. The Forest Fairytale Sal is that way as well, and I think that's the only one, but I've done other things similarly. So there's that. And then my other pride piece that is a WIP is from the Craft Experimentalist. This is the 9-banded pride sampler, and I started this last year and didn't get a ton of stitching done on it, but I just really like it. I enjoyed learning what all of the different colors on the pride flag meant. And so way back, because well, you can't really see how cool this fabric is, so that's okay. This is Nacreous 36 count linen from Forbidden Fiber Co. I'm gonna see if I can get some of it. There is like a very light wash of color in here. So I don't know, this purpley bit here, this blue, like that's real. It's just a super light wash. It's very subtle. And so all I started in the center, and so I started with the words. And so it says life, healing, sunlight. And I am hoping to get all of the words done and start those band patterns this year. So I know they also just released a pattern for this June. I think it was Stonewall Garden. I think that was Craft Experimentalist. If I'm correct, I'll put it here. If not, I'll put the correct artist here. And I think that's right. So those are all of my Craftivism WIPs that are still in my pile that I'm going to work on in June. And then I will work on probably something on Dark 13. Actually, that would be a good day to work on the C1 1692 sampler. And then I might pull out something for like holiday stitching and maybe hopefully touch Leave Me Alone. I'm cross-stitching by the Witchy Stitcher and some of my other stitch-alongs that I just want to make a little bit of progress on. June is a really busy work month. I've got some travel, so that's going to cut in a little bit to my stitching time as well. So it's actually probably good that I only have 6 WIPs that I really want to target, and my WIPGO calls I think will be pretty straightforward. So I think that is everything. Yeah. Hope you all have a great first 2 weeks of June till I see you again, and do some Craftivism stitching if that is something that's in your wheelhouse that you're interested in. Otherwise, I know that, oh, I saw there's like, someone posted a list of all of the June stitch-alongs that folks are hosting, and goodness gracious. There's a lot. Oh, that reminds me, the new Instagram account. I meant to mention the last video and I forgot. Braid. Cozy Town Stitches, Boomerang Stitches, so the Hathaway Stitchers, plus Alex from Salix Stitches started a cross-stitch Salander Instagram page where they are keeping track of cross-stitch stitch-alongs so that you can go look at that and skim through it and see if there's sales going on. You can follow hashtags. Even though hashtags are broken, you know, you could still have an idea of who's stitching and who's stitching what. So that's super cool. That was a very smart idea on those ladies' parts to put that together. So hope you all have a good rest of your June. I will see you soon. Happy stitching, folks. Bye.